All right, today we're diving into some new tech that could completely, and I mean completely, change how we deal with our devices every day. We're talking about finally taming the digital world. You know the feeling, right? That constant repetitive clicking and tapping just to get simple stuff done on your phone or your computer? It's this digital grind that just eats up our time day in and day out. But what if that grind just disappeared? Seriously, imagine just telling your phone what you want, like, hey, book me a flight from Beijing to Paris, and then just watching it happen. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's the promise of a whole new kind of AI assistant. To really get why this is such a huge deal, we first need to talk about the problem it's trying to solve. You know, that daily digital mess we're all stuck in. Just think about your day. Comparing prices, filling out forms, juggling your calendar. It's all just a long sequence of manual steps. Sure, our current assistants can set a timer, but they can't actually navigate the apps on our screen, the complex graphical user interfaces, or GUIs. And that's exactly the problem that a new class of AI is built to fix. Let's meet the GUI agents. So, what makes these things different? Well, they don't need some special access or API. They learn to use an app the same way we do, by looking at the screen and interacting with the buttons and menus, just like a person would. This is a really fundamental shift. We're moving away from assistants that are programmed for a few specific tasks to agents that can actually learn to operate pretty much any application just by watching and doing. And that brings us to the star of today's explainer, a breakthrough new model called GUI-Owl, coming out of Alibaba's Tongyi lab. So here it is. This is GUI-Owl. And it's been designed from the ground up to be what's called a foundational model for automating tasks on any screen. Okay, so what does foundational really mean here? Well, it's a big deal. This isn't just another app. We're talking about a single AI that sees the screen, thinks about what to do next, and then actually does it, all in one unified model. It's super versatile, so it works on your phone, your PC, the web, you name it. And it can work solo or as the brain of a whole team of agents. It's all built on a really powerful vision model called Qwen 2.5 VL. So, how on earth do you teach an AI to be this good? Well, it all comes down to where it learned its stuff, its training ground. The researchers behind this really focused on three key things. First, they built a massive virtual playground on Alibaba Cloud where the AI could just practice on countless apps. Second, they trained it on fundamental skills like how to spot a button or plan out a few steps. And third, they use this powerful technique called reinforcement learning, which basically lets it learn and get better from trial and error. And this is the core of its learning process, and it's just brilliant. The system gives it a task, GUI-Owl gives it a shot, and then a judge checks its work. And here's the cool part. Every single time it gets something right, that success becomes a new lesson. It's this non-stop loop of self-improvement. It literally teaches itself to get smarter. Okay, so the theory is super impressive, but how does it actually do against the competition? And yeah, I'm talking about some of the biggest names in AI. Let's look at the numbers. So, the first big test is a benchmark called AndroidWorld. It's designed to see how well an agent can handle all sorts of tasks in a real Android environment. The standalone GUI-Owl model on its own scores a really impressive 66.4, beating out other top open source models. But look at that third bar. When you take GUI-Owl and make it the brain for a more advanced framework, the score just skyrockets to 73.3. And that number, 73.3, isn't just a little bit better. It sets a brand new state-of-the-art record for this kind of framework on a really complex benchmark. That's a huge win. And the story's pretty much the same on the desktop. In the OSWorld benchmark, a specially tuned version of GUI-Owl again comes out on top. And just like before, when you plug it into that smarter framework, it pushes the performance even higher. Okay, and here is the kicker. This isn't just about being the best in the open source world. The paper states, flat out, that on certain key tests, the bigger version of GUI-Owl outperforms all models. And yes, that includes GPT-4o and Claude 3.7. Let that sink in. This is a massive, massive achievement. So, what does this incredible performance actually mean for you, for me, and for the devices we use every single day? Well, you can basically use this tech in two main ways. You can have the one super powerful GUI-Owl model just handling everything from start to finish, or For the really complicated stuff, you can use it to power this Mobile-Agent-v3 framework, which is kind of like upgrading from one brilliant person to a whole dream team of specialists. And this team is incredibly well organized. You've got a manager who breaks down the big goal. You've got a worker that actually does the clicking and tapping. Then there's a reflector, which is like a quality checker, making sure everything worked and fixing mistakes. And finally, a note taker that remembers important stuff, so it doesn't have to ask you for your password over and over again. It's a really robust, self-correcting system. And this is why this all matters so much. This goes way beyond just automating a few simple things. This is about building a truly capable digital assistant, one that can plan your whole vacation, manage your finances, or organize a project by jumping between different apps and websites, adapting on the fly just like a person would. With technologies like GUI-Owl setting new records, it really feels like we're on the edge of a major shift. The era of the truly helpful AI assistant might be coming a lot sooner than we think. So the only real question left is, when the digital grind is finally gone, what are you going to do with all that time you save?